Welcome, 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 welcome everyone to the Guys Podcast featuring Mel and Friends. Tonight, I have a couple of people that are joining us a little later. But tonight we have on, in this moment, Mr. Corey. And the topic tonight is who's teaching black men how to love, what love means. Do they still believe in love? And so we do have a special guest on and a couple of other guests getting ready to come on in just a little bit later. But Mr. Corey, I just want to start off by saying welcome to the Guys featuring Mel and Friends. And so you are my first male friend that I have on the show this evening. So introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what you have going on.
Well, my name is Jacorian, but I go by Corey.
Mm-hmm.
28. I'm single.
Okay.
And,
are you single or single?
I'm single. I do a little bit of everything. I consider myself a modern day Renaissance man.
And why do you say that?
I'm pretty immersed in arts. Sing, songwrite. I write poetry. I've done some acting, stage plays, etc. You know.
Ooh. So, ladies, he's single. He says single. Now, offline, I said, is there anyone out here that thinks you're together? Because you're going to have to get these stories lined up if there is someone out here.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. Okay. Well, with that being said, first question. Do you believe in love?
Absolutely. My last relationship wasn't the best. And it did deter me from feeling that way for a time. But there was some things I had to work on within myself.
Like what?
Just learning how to properly deal with my emotions.
Okay, let's elaborate.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this. For me, that was like my first real relationship with a person that I took extremely serious. And I had never felt the things for anybody that I had felt for her before. So I was pretty much trying to learn myself what I was okay with, what my love languages were.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to understand myself better as a partner, and trying to understand the dynamics of working through a relationship. And I don't want to say that I didn't do a lot right, but I feel like it was things that I could have improved on as far as my emotional standpoint.
Okay. So let's elaborate on that because you said there are things that you could have improved on, right? I guess my question is who taught you what you needed to improve upon? Like when did you know you had to work on yourself, I guess?
Probably around the time it started to get rocky. I think I was trying to put off how I really felt in the sake of trying to just like keep it to a cool level to where I didn't feel like it was going to be a lot of conflict. And I'm pretty bad with confrontation.
Uh-huh.
So it was like a lack of communication going on.
So what you're trying to say, instead of you communicating, being vulnerable, putting your feelings out there, you just let you threw the whole relationship away.
I didn't throw it away. I tried. And
what is trying like? How did you try?
Well, like I realized it was a lack of communication, and I brought it up. We had a discussion about it. I felt like we were on the same page. And then later on, I don't know where the disconnect happened again. But it was like 1 week we was together, and the next week it was over.
Okay, so for those of you guys just joining us tonight on the show, it's the Guys featuring Mel and Friends, who are teaching Black men how to love, right? So we want to know, like, when you mess up, when things go awry in your relationships, who is teaching you? So you just named some key things that most people have problems with in their relationships, especially young love, because you say you're 28 years old. You your last relationship was 2018. So let's be honest, we really, I'm almost 40 and I still have a problem communicating effectively. So when you're that young, it's like, who did you lean towards? Who did you lean on in order to help you through these moments of just trying to find yourself in your relationship? Because you said you threw the whole relationship away.
He said he did.
You threw the whole relationship away.
That's that propaganda right there. I didn't throw the relationship. I really wanted it to work out, and I felt like it was working out. But you know, people can sometimes be wishy-washy. Like, I think the last conversation we had relationship-wise was about getting a dog. And that's a pretty serious commitment to me. So we were talking about that. And that was like our last relationship conversation, I guess. And then literally a week after that, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting a string of texts saying that the relationship can't happen and things of that nature. So
okay. Go ahead, Casey, because I have a whole bunch of questions. Because when we send them string of text messages, we knew it was over before we sent that string of messages.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. You know how we have other women. And we have other women to lean on. So like if I'm feeling sad because you're a little bit older than me, if I have okay, I'm calling them like how I feel, or how did you know you felt this way? Like it's not like I just let it continue to happen. I'm just how can this be better? I'm like I'm calling somebody else, another older like when you are my age, and I feel like for a lot of men they don't have that. Like they don't have it. Somebody older than them, like when you were in love, when you were really feeling a woman, how did you know? And so that's what just like who's teaching them. And it's kind of like blind leading them. They teach themselves. And
Casey, I don't mean to cut you off, Corey. I got some feedback that there's an echo on your side. If you don't mind for me quickly log out and then come back, and I'm gonna let you back into the show. I just want to make sure everybody's
leave.
Yep, leave and then come back. I just want to make sure that the sound is really good for everyone and everyone watching, for our viewers. So I'm gonna let you log out and come back into the show, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback of that it was a bad echo. So for those who are just joining, we are having a candid conversation with a young Black male, 28 years old, and he was open and honest and transparent with his love, and basically he may not say it, but I'm saying it. He threw his whole relationship away because he couldn't communicate effectively.
That's now he said.
Oh goodness! All right, Corey. Let's see if your echo is done. You may have to take your earbuds out if it's still echoing.
So is it echoing?
I hear.
The viewers would have to let me know. Viewers, are we echoing tonight? We still echoing? All right, Corey. I'm gonna let you take it away. Casey, you were asking him a good question.
Oh, girl, you know my brain. The question. Could have held on to it. What was I asking? Oh yeah, so we know how it was because the whole thing is black men. And so as I was saying, I can call on myself a black woman. You were my age at this time, or now I'm echoing. But it's say, how did you feel at this time? And another older black woman will tell me, but I feel like men don't have that. Like, you can't hit up and what they call them OGs. You can't hit up an OG and be like, hey man, when you was 28, how did you know you were in love? And they were like, love. You know what I'm saying? So it's for me, I feel like it's a lot of blind leading the blind. Like now, people around our age, between like 25, like 30, 35, everybody's kind of somebody in love, or they're feeling the ways of they want to find somebody. Like, we're all in the whole, if it happens, it happens. I'm not rushing for it, but everybody really is kind of like, you know, I want somebody to love, and it's a lot of men out here be like they want to be loved, but y'all want to be loved, but then a lot of y'all not giving it. Like, I remember seeing this post, it was just like, you're telling me you're loving me, but I don't feel loved in the way that you say you're showing it, right?
Casey, you know what it is? Because men's love language is different from a woman's love language. Men think that if they do things, if they're the handyman, if they're coming over to fix things, if they feel like those are the things that they enjoy, so that is their love language. But they don't understand that, like, maybe another woman's love language is, you know, touch, physical touch. A lot of men don't like physical touch. So I think Corey said it best. It was that disconnect that he had with whoever he was with. He had to learn his own love language. Had to learn his own love language first in order for her to understand the love language. So I don't know, but
his love language was
he didn't say what his love language was. What?
Well, you know, I ain't too versed on them. But from what I can understand, I feel like definitely it's quality time.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like to spend time with the person that I'm involved with.
Right.
And shoot. What's the list?
What's the list? Your love language. Quality time. Physical touch.
That one.
Words of affirmation.
Yep.
And what's the last one? Acts of service. Yes. So I really feel like men, I'm not a man, and everyone welcome Dr. Mutora Flood to the show. Thank you so much, Dr. Mutora Flood. If you're just joining us tonight, the topic is, who are teaching black men how to love? Do you believe in love? Who are you able to lean on to show you how you are properly supposed to love, especially when we have, a lot of single parent households led by strong black women? Who do black men lean on when they are trying to figure out how to love? And so, Corey, you said you weren't familiar with all the love languages, but you knew that there was an issue with your love language in your last relationship. So we said words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, acts of service. And is there one more?
I think that's it. Because my top two are quality time and physical touch.
Yeah.
Receiving gifts. Receiving gifts. Receiving gifts. And listen, y'all, I like all of them. I like all of them. So Mutora, I'm going to welcome you to the show, Dr. Mutora Flood. We have Corey, who's 28-year-old, single, so he says. I asked him behind the scenes, I said, listen, is there anybody out here that thinks you're together? Because we want to talk about this as well. Because there are some women out here, they think they're in a relationship, but they're not really in a relationship, okay? So we're going to pull back up to that topic in just a couple minutes. But Dr. Mutora Flood, welcome you to the show. How old are you? What do you do? What is your relationship status? And who taught you how to love?
Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, everybody. Thank you. Glad to be a part of this. Name is Dr. Flood. I am 41. I am a psychology professor at the Great Bethune University. What was the other question?
All right, what's your relationship status?
Oh, I'm single.
Single. Like you can leave your phone unlocked at the dinner table when you go to the restroom. You know, if your Facebook is up on your computer screen, you can, you know, you have no problems if somebody went through your phone. You are that single.
I've never locked my phone in the first place.
Oh,
I come over your house when you're not another under the sink.
Single.
But when you're that's possible. There's no extra amenities. Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm completely transparent.
Okay. Now, how long have you been single? Because Mr. Corey has been single since 2018.
Around 2020. Just before the pandemic started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go further.
Listen. So, who taught you how to love?
My parents.
Mm.
And my own experiences. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, seeing my father bring gifts. I mean, talking about the five love languages. I'm not sure which one my mom is or my father is, but my father would bring home like cheesecake and flowers. And I've seen him kiss my mom. It's just general treatment of my mom. Really informed me on how a functional relationship should proceed. And so even them being married. I grew up in a two-parent household with a mom and a father, and so I think that has a strong guidance for how I think about relationships and how I think about love.
All right, Mr. Corey, let me ask you a question. Did you grow up in a two-parent household?
That's a complicated question.
Okay.
I grew up in a household with my grandmother, my mother, and my grandmother's now husband.
Okay. Would you say that your grandmother's now husband was influential on how you treated women based off of what you saw in the household?
I would like to say so because he was really good for my grandmother.
Okay.
Like the whole time even before they got married, like him just being there. And because my father wasn't really around like that, I think I tried to just watch him as a male role model.
Okay. That's fair. That's a fair statement. That's a good statement. So I have a question for both of you. Have your homeboys ever come to you and asked you about relationship advice?
All the time.
All the time. When was the last time, in general, what was it? What did they come to you about that they wanted advice on, Mr. Corey?
The same stuff that I was working on with myself, trying to figure out my emotions when it comes to certain things, and being more vocal and communicating those things.
So if you already said that you had an issue in your relationship being vocal and communicating how you felt in order to keep your relationship together, what advice were you able to give your friend? And Dr. Flood, just experience. Okay, well, what did you tell him? And then did it pan out for him in his relationship? I guess because the question is, who are you leaning on? So if you weren't in the position to make sure that I'm not throwing shade, no shade at all. But we talk about women that are single try to give relationship advice to women that are married or women that are in a relationship, and it never goes over well, right? Never. So if a man is trying to give relationship advice and he may not be in the right space to communicate or understand his feelings, how are you supposed to give another man some advice when you may not be in that right space?
So
no shade at all.
Was 4 years ago, right?
What'd you say?
I said it was 4 years ago.
Well, actually, when was the last time you had to give some relationship advice?
Pretty recently, but
okay.
I don't think it was for like a relationship with two people being together. It was just my homeboy wanted to know like how do I like just learn how did I learn how to deal with my emotions when it comes to dealing with other people.
And how did you learn?
I had to have many talks.
I
have women friends. I have a women tribe. And some of them are counselors and things of that nature. So I had to have plenty of talks with them. My grandparents. I just needed another perspective from what I was getting.
Perfect. We're going to come back to this women tribe because, I got questions about this women tribe because every woman in your tribe is not in your tribe. So we're going to come back to that. And me and Casey are going to tell you about this women tribe, okay? Dr. Flood, when is the last time you had to give relationship advice to one of your friends? And generally, what was that relationship? Like, what was the situation or what was your advice?
I'm not sure if it I can't remember the last time I gave advice, but I do talk to my friends about relationships. So they may be talking about what's going on. And a lot of times, when people tell me that there's issues or something like that in a relationship, ask them two questions. Like, hey, do you want me to just listen? Or do you want my advice? Because a lot of times people just want a sounding board. Other times people are actually looking for advice. And a lot of times men are the latter. They're just going to give you advice first after you just told them something. And I've learned that typically in my relationships with women. Like, no, I just want you to listen. So I kind of try and do that.
Okay. So you know what? I do the same thing. I'm like, when people ask me anything, relationship advice, work advice, Casey, what do I say? Do you want me to be your friend? Or you want me to tell you the truth? Like, you tell me which position do I need to play? What role do I need to play in this conversation?
I think the copy like, I need to vent. Or I'd be like, I need your opinion. I'm going to tell you what. If I say I need to vent, I already know I need you to listen.
Okay. Okay, so Casey, we need to circle back around to this woman tribe, okay?
I think we had different on the woman tribe. My talking point on the woman tribe was I have no black male friends. They'll ask me for women too, and I'll give them the advice I feel. And so we ask the black men where they learning how to love, and if you're trying to love them, and the men are asking their women friends, how do I love this black woman? And it's kind of going in a cycle. What black man love her like this? And he's loving her like that, and he's going to his friends like she's not loving on giving. It's kind of like the advice of how we feel like we would like to be loved. And we tell our male friends, supposed to try and love that girl up there. But it doesn't work. He's trying to love her the way I want to be loved. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because you have to love the person the way they want to be loved, and not the way somebody else, right? Says they should be loved. Right. And so that's all about keeping and that's the thing. People say, you keep your relationship, to keep the issues and things that's in your relationship, like with that other person. But how are you supposed to build the relationship and fix the problems in the relationship if you can't go outside the relationship to talk about it? And so I was curious to know black men, do you seek relationship counseling? Have either one of you ever seek relationship counseling? Do you talk to your pastor? Do you talk to your, any higher power, spiritual being outside of your homies that may not be giving the best advice because they still out here smashing every? Because let's just be honest. At 41, let's just be honest.
At 41, they're still out here smashing anything? There's no hope. Dr. Flood, there's no hope.
So my last relationship, I was with my ex-fiance.
Oh, okay.
So that didn't work out. So, I didn't feel like jumping into any kind of relationship, right after that. Especially the pandemic happened. And it was like, I'm not getting around him anyway. I don't know what you got. You got the Rona? Yeah. So, what was the other question?
My brain. I was like,
I can't with you.
You know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I said the higher power. Do you go to a counselor, or is there like a spiritual guide, like a pastor, or?
So I've been to the premarital counseling, and I'm not against going to counseling. I'm actively at the moment trying to seek out in this new area that I live in, a therapist or a counselor. So I think everyone should get counseling. It's not just if you have some kind of mental health concern, but counselors can take you, if you're in a steady state, can take you to a higher state. So I always recommend that, especially the Black folks. Black folks are just very traumatized due to structural racism and all those kinds of things. So we definitely need therapy. And I tell my students that all the time, like, hey, go get some therapy.
I definitely understand. And there's nothing wrong with seeing a counselor, a relationship counselor, a personal counselor. Everyone, sometimes you just need to be able to bounce your ideas or your thought process off of someone that is definitely neutral. And then when you have your friends or your family or your mom or your dad, it's hard to ask for relationship advice from people that are very close to you, because that person is never going to forgive that other person for what they did. Right? So, for example, if your man been cheating on you and you go cry to your mom every time the man cheats on you, when this man comes in the house, if there ain't anything like my mama gonna be like, okay, but you decided to stay with that person. Right. And so I feel like, especially as women and as men sometimes as well, we have to be mindful of what we share and how we share and who we share it to, because best friends aren't going to forgive. I tell you what I tell one of my homegirls right now. I'm like, listen, homegirl, I love you. If you fuck with him, I fuck with him. But if we need to fuck him up, then we're going to have to fuck him up. Excuse my language. and I need men to understand this. We gonna, like with my sister, whoever she's dealing with, whoever she's dating, if that's who she chooses to be with, I don't care what he does to her. If she loves this man and she's going to be with this man, I'm all for it. But the moment she says, sis, we got to ride the mess and do what we do, I got the keys in my hand. And a lot of women are like that.
Hold on, let me push back on that. You said it doesn't matter what the man does as long as your sister is cool with it.
Listen, I don't have any control over what my sister allows in her life. If I can give her the advice that I would give her as her big sister, but if she still chooses to be with this person, then I can't stop her from being with this person. But I can say, hey sis, like, that's not cool. But if she doesn't leave him, what I'm gonna do about it? I'm supposed to, have an attitude with him every time I see him over something he did that she allowed?
Yeah, I don't know what she's saying to a point, Dr. Flood, only because I was with somebody who for a while, my family only knew like a little bit of stuff he was doing. But after me and him were done and I started telling him all the stuff, everybody was kind of looking at me crazy. And I really kept it to myself because I knew that if everyone knew what he was doing in our relationship, and one, everybody would have been my ass, and two, everybody would have been his ass. Like, that is what it is. So that's what it was just like, you don't always tell your family what's going on. Because after I told everybody, I was like, there's no way I can ever go back to him. Because after I done told everybody what this man did, I'm going to like move with fool if I go back to him. They're going to be like, now, Casey. This man don't pay no bill. He don't do nothing.
I see where y'all going with this. I mean, it's a fine line between like enabling and giving constructive feedback and letting things unfold the way they unfold. I know I have sisters, and when I tell them certain things, because I have a very good relationship with my sisters, they be like, "Oh, that bitch is crazy. you need to do something else. you need to step out. Like, that's not cool. And I listen. I listen. And on the flip side of that, when my sisters have had men that haven't exactly been up to par, and there's been a lot of crazy stuff. Sometimes this is back in the day where one time one of them touched or hit my sister, and I was ready at the house with the bat. like, hey, this is how this is gonna go. Like,
Roll up on
that's
them.
not something I mess with. So it's all depends. It all depends. I see where you're going with that.
So let's follow up on this. Yes. So again, I'm just to clarify what I mean. There will be no days, because you know my personality. We go back long. I've known you for a very long time. So you know my personality. So there will be no days that I'm ever going to spare how I feel. Right? I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm going to tell you, I don't think this is the right thing, or maybe you need to move on. But if you decide to stay, that's on you. There'll be no days I spare, how I feel about the situation. But I'm going to support you and help you maneuver it the best way you can if that's something that you decide to do. So that's just where I am with that. But understand, that's how women are. We talk about women and their tribe. If we are homegirls, if we riding for him, if she riding for him, we're going to support him. We're going to ride. We're always going to say how we feel. But when we done riding for him, we're going to ride out on him. Okay?
Like, you still messing with him? And like, yeah,
okay. And then we do that infamous, couldn't be me.
No, it's just that, okay, if you like it, I love it.
That's it right there. You like it, I love it. It is what it is. But then let me ask you something. Dr. Flood. At what point in time do you feel like enough is enough in a relationship, right? Like you said that you had an ex-fiance, Mr. Corey, you said that, she sent you a text message about the dog. You guys talked about the dog, and then you got a flood of text messages, and the relationship was over. Two-part question: at what point do you feel like enough is enough in a relationship? And then when do you think a woman is done with a relationship?
Oh, I'll answer the woman first. If she come in and she got a new hairstyle, it's probably over. like if she got long hair, she coming in the short. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
Something's different. Like, yeah. But when it comes to like when a relationship's over, probably when both parties have exhausted kind of all the things to try and that people do to stay together, and they feel exhausted, and then they don't want to actually try. And so any little difference becomes a big kind of argument. That's usually when it's kind of over. Yeah, if you don't want to try, and you're always arguing, then it's probably time to call it quits.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Mr. Corey, what about you?
Well, I just feel like the relationship's over when neither side feels like there's no need to put in the more energy. So,
but do you still smash?
You would.
He didn't say his feelings wasn't in it. He said that it's the feeling.
I'm just asking a question because you could call it quits all day long with a woman. You know your heart's not there. You know you don't want to be there, but the loving was good. So do you still smash?
I'm done.
Oh,
Because it take a lot for me to get to the point where I'm just completely done with a person. So I put up with it. I'm really good at my patience has grown. But I feel like for me, when it gets to the point where I feel like it's over, it's like, look, I wish you the best, and see you on the other side.
And you never circle back around, no matter how good it was.
Are we talking about casual relationships, or are we talking about relationships?
I'm talking about period. If you said when I'm done, I'm done. I only can go off of what you just said. You said when I'm done, right? So my question is, when you're done, okay, so do you circle back around? Is my question.
No.
Never.
The last time I circled back around for a relationship was with my ex-girlfriend. We dated.
Okay.
We dated earlier in our lives. Didn't work out. We was friends again for a while, and then it butted back into that last relationship that we had with each other. And I was just like, hey, don't do that to yourself again.
So after the last time you was done, you never went back?
Well, my ex, no.
Okay. Dr. Flood, you see where I was going with that, right?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, so question for you.
So for me, when I'm actually done, then yeah, I don't go back. However, it's really hard for me to be actually done with a woman unless they are like, no, under no circumstances am I messing with this anymore. Because also, I don't just jump into casual sexual relationships with women. You know, I jump into relationships for the most part. Okay. You know, everybody has their kind of whole phase. I had that. You know, back. I don't really have that whole phase. So it's like relationships I'm looking for. And
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Point of clarification. You've never had a whole phase?
No. I said I had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this is way back. Yeah, I don't have it now. Like, I don't have a whole phase to kind of go through now. But like early 30s, yeah. You know, for like.
Okay, so when did your whole phase end?
Say it again.
When did your whole phase end?
It was from around 30 to like 32. Like 2 years. I was just like, because I got a relationship and I was like, hey, you know, I'm free, you know, and but what's good about that is that I would tell women, like, hey, I'm not looking for a relationship. And what I found is that the more honest you are with the woman, the kind of more they want to hop on. They, you know, if you are like really transparent, like, hey, you're not gonna become my girlfriend. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm just looking for some, friends with benefits, and that's it. Like, I might drive you to the Walmart when you need something like that. But other than that, like, I'm not taking you out on dates, nothing like that.
Oh, wow.
I ain't never had no man say nothing crazy.
Ever.
I've done the casual sex phase. And if I call you and I need something, or, we hang it, like, we can still be casual. We still are nice to each other, Dr. Flood.
Absolutely.
Don't call me at all.
Listen, I'm not driving you to Walmart. If you're tired, flat, don't call me. If you leave your debit card at home, I'm not cash apping you nothing.
Like if you call me, we just casual friends with benefits. I'll give you the benefits. I'll drive you to Walmart. I don't know, do other things, whatever those things are, but not be a man, which comes with other kind of.
Oh, so you're not going on dates? You're not going to be her date to the wedding? You're not going to a work function? You're not coming to the family reunion?
No.
You're not buying a birthday gift, Christmas gift?
No. What does it take away from you just by doing it? Like, why do you feel like you shouldn't cross that line with her? What does it take away from you?
Because those are lines that are meant for those who are in a relationship. I don't need to meet your parents.
Oh, I agree.
Oh yeah, the parents thing.
But like a date, I've done a date with men that I'm just having sex with. Like, we go out to eat, we pay, we drink, we go back and eat back.
Mutar said, "I'm gonna give you this business and get out my house."
Every now and again, like we can go on dates.
Mutar said, "I'm taking you to Applebee's."
Or you come to my crib, I come to your crib, or we get it popping.
Yeah, he don't need to be out here on the whole shit. He is ruthless. He don't need to be out here.
Can I interject right there? So you said, why can't you do that? Like certain things for what I learned from the little phase I had was that a lot of women that I was meeting and dating, they weren't used to people that they were just like dealing with being on that type of time with them. And they sometimes would expect more from what was going on, but they wouldn't ask. Or they wouldn't want to talk about it. Like, they wouldn't feel comfortable like discussing anything or a possibility outside of a relationship. But they would like have those feelings and hold on to those feelings until something happened. and then it'll be like a problem.
I know what you're talking about. I know.
Yeah. Basically, don't go into a situation being a friends with benefits if you ever want to be in a relationship.
Right.
Let me tell you what it is with women. Mutor, you are a challenge. Okay, a woman like me, not anymore, because I have learned those hard lessons in life. But in my mid-20s, early 30s, if you would have told me that, hey, we're gonna be friends with benefits, listen, you're a challenge. You're gonna want to be with me after we get done. And a lot to me.
Yeah.
To me, but a lot of women feel that way. But as I move, not all, I say a lot, but as I move towards my late 30s and early 40s, I believe what you say. Okay, I'm at a place in my life where if you say you don't want to be in a relationship, I have to believe exactly what came out of your mouth, and I got to keep it moving, because guess what? My daughter deserves a father. Okay, I deserve to have somebody come up in this house and pay all these bills, even though I can pay them on my own. You understand what I'm saying? So if I come into contact with men now who say, I don't want to be in a relationship, I just want to take things slow and figure out where they go, you can keep it moving, because all you're going to do is waste my time.
I want to 40. You ain't got much time to take nothing slow.
40. What do we take? Like, I'm getting ready to go through menopause and you want to take things slow?
Yeah,
like, how much slower do you want to go? You understand what I'm saying? Corey, you're laughing, but a woman in her late 30s, early 40s, it's like, there's no slow. Either a man comes into the situation knowing that they want to be married, knowing that they want to be in a relationship, or you got to keep it moving. If a man tells me in this moment, I just want to see where things go, well, you can go see where things go with this woman over here, because my daughter deserves a father. And if that's not where your mind is right now, then we don't even have to go on the first date. Friends with benefits, none of that. If I wanted a friends with benefits, matter of fact, every woman out there got a friend with benefits. Let's just be honest. We know who to call. We don't need any more friends.
Period. I don't need no more benefits.
Listen, got all the benefits I can ever have in one.
Well, what they say.
Always understand that. Women always find a dick in a box. It's not hard. You can always find.
Listen, fine as I am, you think I don't have no friends with benefits? Well, I want to add you to the list. Okay, I'm just saying, get out of here. Anywho,
I respect that. I respect it too.
But honestly, women, we take men who say, I don't want to be in a relationship, younger me, as a challenge. You're a challenge, okay? You're going to want me by the time that I'm done, because of who I am, because of what I offer, because of what I bring to the table. But what I have learned also as I move towards my latter part of dating and relationships is, a man don't care what you bring to the table. He don't care if you got a pot to piss in or a winner to throw it out of it. He going to be with you. He going to be with you regardless. Somebody tell me I'm lying. Somebody tell me I'm lying.
If that man wants you, he gonna get you.
He gonna want you. He gonna want you if you work at McDonald's. He gonna want you if you got a FUPA. He gonna want you with your birth certificate over this woman with her master's degree. It's women out here with a whole birth certificate and got a man. Okay, I'm not saying education qualifies you to have a good man, but it's women out here competing with women working on their master's degrees, competing with a woman with a birth certificate, all because that's just what the man wants. Isn't that crazy? Because women put value on things that men don't put value on. Women think that if they can pay their bills and they, can take care of their household and, they got a two master's degrees working on the PhD, that holds weight in a man's mind. I have learned, honey, recently that don't mean shit if a man don't want you. Because if he wants you, he'll want you with that birth certificate and your McDonald's job. Okay, right. I'm just saying.
So in general, I would agree with you. I think as I've gotten older, my qualifications have changed. Now, don't get it twisted. If I find the right woman and she's working at McDonald's, I scoop her up. Sure. But but my criteria is I would look for a woman who is more established, has a career, education, something like that. But the girl in McDonald's, she can still get it.
She can still get it.
I appreciate your honesty, Corey. How do you feel about that? Have you ever chosen a woman that appeared to others that she was not, I guess, on your level, on your standard, over a woman that has met all your criteria? Have you ever been faced with that situation?
Man, look, we all struggle at some point. So I don't really judge a woman off of what she has and don't have. I judge her about who she is, what kind of character she has, what kind of person she is to me or for me. Like that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for, because you can have all those qualifications and all that stuff, and you can be a terrible person. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be with no terrible woman just because she 30 degrees and she worth $100 million.
Let me ask you something. Both of you talked about qualifications. How much weight does physical beauty hold as far as your qualifications are concerned? Could you date a woman who took care of all your love languages, who met the criteria of being a nurturer, supported you, and she was like a 2.5 on the Richter scale? Listen, it's my scale. A gremlin is 0, Beyonce is 10. Could you date somebody that's a 2?
So I have dated somebody who was 0.5.
Oh,
I dated a couple of women who was 0.5s.
Now him calling them butterface. They have nice bodies.
At least
no,
they have no booty, nothing.
So you really love their personality.
I really like their personality. Sometimes a woman could slip in with me if we kind of had sex, and then I'm like, all right. Especially when I was younger. when we had sex, just felt like a bond there, and I was like, all right, you can't just smash and dash. So I would take them out, and I would learn more about them. And a lot of times they have really good personalities. However, my girlfriends have always been 13, 14, like exceptional women.
I'm a gremlin, but I ain't
gonna wife her. So basically, physical attributes mean a lot to you. You'll mess with a gremlin, but you won't marry a gremlin. Let's just be honest.
I'm a
Possibly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say all the aspects are equally important. Like,
but you'll put up with a 10 before you'll put up with a 0.25.
Oh no, I'm not putting up with that 10 if that 10 not doing nothing for me.
Y'all lying.
Y'all lying. I'm gonna treat women whether they are 10s or 0.5. Like I don't treat women less because of how the world values them or how I perceive their physical traits. They just probably won't get to a certain level with me.
Over a terrible 10 every day.
You a what now? What'd you say, Corey?
I'm taking a cool, calm 6. They got a great personality, fun, doing, meet all my other requirements over a terrible 10 every day.
But I bet you'll cheat with a terrible 10.
I've never cheated before.
I've never cheated either.
You never cheated either? Okay, give us some jokes. With some men out here not cheating.
Come on! I love my one.
But never cheated.
Say that again. Say it again.
I said I've gotten this close.
Wait.
Look, I should have cheated.
Because what is this?
What is it?
Right.
Were you naked? Were you kissing?
No. So I have very hard criteria about what is omissions and what are lies. And so one time I went on a study date with a girl that I knew liked me. She didn't say it overtly, but she gave me all the cues. And I went with her. We studied. We ain't touched or kissed or anything like that. And I went back, to my girl. I typically would consider that to be cheating, personally. Because I was not going to tell my girlfriend that this woman obviously liked me, and that's why she set up a whole study date in college. But other people may think differently. That's about the closest I got ever.
So you knew the woman was attracted to you. You had the study date, and you didn't tell your girlfriend because you knew she wasn't gonna accept it because it was a date that a woman liked you.
Correct. And so to me, that would be
cheating.
You think that's cheating?
I think it's cheating. If my nigga told me he went on a date with somebody that he knows likes him.
Well, a study date. Where we
actually
date, study date, dinner date, Bible study date. You knew this woman liked you.
Right. And if y'all had got the chance, knowing that she liked you, you probably would let her suck your dick or something. Because she liked you that much. Then what was you gonna do? Tell her to stop? Oh no, I got a girlfriend. You're not doing that.
Well, so with me, I will tell a woman if I don't want to have sex with them, and I've done that a number of times for a variety of reasons. And some I regret, and some are like, no, I made a good decision.
But what was the purpose of going on the date if you weren't going to do anything? Like you just
let me answer that for him real quick.
Answer for me. What was it?
He wanted to see if he still had it. The girlfriend at his house was whatever issues, whatever they were having. He just wanted to test. He wanted to test his manhood. Okay, he just wanted to make sure he still had it. So he set up this date just to make sure he felt validated because the woman at the house was giving him hell. Made him feel some kind of way, whatever it was he needed. She probably was a 6 because he already said he dated 0.025s. Okay,
no, he said he was 7.5.
7.5.
So she had a little bit of ass on her.
Right? So he went on this study date to make him feel good, to stroke his ego because whatever he had at home, the situation at home wasn't what he wanted to be in that moment. Am I wrong or right?
The situation was crumbling. A couple of months later, we parted ways. But I felt terrible. And so
about the study date, you should have just cheated. For real.
I mean, I was like 21, 22, and that's the closest I ever got to that.
Oh Lord, Corey, I know you didn't cheat. You said you didn't, but let's hear your.
I ain't never cheated on nobody.
You never even came close.
He don't cheat.
Not even close.
So you never DM'd a girl and said she was pretty while you was dating somebody. You never took a woman's number who was attracted to you while you had a girlfriend.
While I had a girlfriend, no.
Well, wait a minute, because is that cheating? Because So you're building your team. So you're building your team. Okay, so it's like
I would consider that
relationship.
What'd you say?
So I say it again.
It was kind of towards the end of the relationship. Like, so I'm going out, and I know the relationship was like coming to an end. Like, I know we're not going to be together long. I was giving Nick my number and be like, yeah, we can go on a date in about a month or so. Because I knew in about a month or so.
I mean, that's cheating. What are you talking about?
I knew about a month or so I wasn't going to be with nobody. So in a month or so, hit me up. But
oh my gosh.
Y'all straight.
Okay, so let me ask you a question real quick because this happens to me all the time. I'll be out and I'll be like, I got a man, even if I have one or not, I got a man. And they be like, well, take my number just so when you don't have him anymore, you can give me a call. Like, I feel some kind of way about a man that's just like you. So you don't care. Do you want any, like, is there a grace period of time that you want me to wait? I'm talking to this man. Like, do you want me to call you the very next day? Like, do you,
he said your pussy not talking. He said, so that's what he's trying to get with. He's not caring about what you and your man talking about with your mouth. He said, is your pussy talking or not?
If a man wants you, he don't care what you got going.
I'm telling you, he don't care if you got a whole husband, 5 kids. He said you look a little good. He said kids got you looking good.
So for me, when I approach a woman, if she tells me that she has a man, this is at any age. I stop right there. Like,
right. Come on, Mutar.
He a good man. Except for his cheating.
I was out.
Listen, but Casey, we gotta ask this man because he talking real good. He never really technically cheated. He dates for he has a standard. We gotta ask this man, why is he single?
Oh, yeah,
40 years old.
He didn't get to it. Yeah.
Dr. Flood. I know you're about 6'5", right? 6'5". Doctor, you don't look too bad on the other side of this computer screen. Okay? Single.
What's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with me.
Oh, something wrong with you. Do you have children?
I do not have children.
You don't have any kids, 40 years old, doctor, 6'5", has a really good job, very articulate, very handsome as well, but you're single, and no kids. Something got to be wrong with you. So be open and honest with the viewers tonight. What's wrong with you?
You're like, Oprah, you don't know nobody.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with me. I spent too long with the same woman, and it didn't go anywhere.
Oh.
How long
so now,
how long were they together?
On and off?
Like, the entirety.
On and off, like 11 years.
Oh, listen, you spent way too long. You could have been married, had some kids, 401k, built some properties, 11 years. Listen, I got rid of my husband after 5, so you spent entirely too long. I got married and divorced during the time that you was just trying to see if this woman was going to be a wife. But I have a question for you now, Dr. Flood. Okay. So now that you're how old? 41. Are you like just throwing lines out there, seeing if you can hook them and seeing if they're working? If they don't work, are you throwing them back? Or are you still going to date for 11 years?
He ain't got 11 more years.
No, I mean,
exactly.
I could always get a woman if I want to. That's not hard for me.
Oh, we know. Hey, real quick, we have a viewer in the audience. She said, "Why does there have to be something wrong with him?"
Ms. Johnson, I agree with you.
I think
Listen,
when you hear a man like that, and again, men and women don't have the same thing. So women want a man with a good job, who wants to be in a committed relationship, who wants this, that, and the third. And we hear he has all that, and we're like, but why
are you single?
Why has not anybody snatched you up? Because why aren't you somebody daddy right now? Because it's women out here that want, not like daddy as sexually, like, why you ain't got no kids? Why don't you have a family that loves you?
Because here's the thing, I bet if you ask that person that he was with for 11 years, she'll tell you what's wrong with him.
Oh yeah.
So Lorena, why does something have to be wrong with them? It's something wrong. It gotta be.
I think we're saying because he's saying wrong. It doesn't have to be anything wrong with him. He just hasn't found the right person to fit.
And I would agree with that. I haven't found the right woman.
Well, ladies, we're live on Blackjack, Zingo TV, Sports Wagon Network. This is a single doctor, okay? Single, 6'5", no kids. Okay, and I know his sisters, and they want to get this man married.
They do.
So, okay, I'm just gonna put it out that this man says nothing wrong with him. Okay, 6'5", no kids, single. He's so single he don't even lock his phone single.
You can go through it at night. You don't gotta wait till you
listen. You ain't even gotta wait till he sleep to put your finger on to hold your face up to the screen single. Okay. That man is single.
If I have to lock my phone, then there's problems in the relationship of trust.
Come on. Listen, ladies, he gonna leave that phone unlocked for you.
My phone for the reason that I don't want my woman to get into my phone. I think that's a problem. Vice versa, it doesn't matter which one is doing it.
I'm gonna say that because when I get in an argument with this man, I'm be like, so you locking your phone because you don't have no trust. I'm gonna say that.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Oh, and let me tell you what he gonna say. Well, if I leave my phone out somewhere, I don't want anybody to get into my phone.
But how they gonna call and be like, hey, someone left their phone?
If that's really the reason that they lock their phone, that's cool. But if you're locking your phone because you have issues with a woman wanting to be able to see whatever you got in there, that's another thing. That's a different thing altogether.
Okay. Well, Mr. Graves, he says sometimes there has to be a villain once the relationship or courtship ends. Listen, I'm a firm believer of that, because once me and my ex-husband, once our relationship dissolved, I was like, blame it on me. Say it's my fault. That's a song. Say I'm a liar, cheater, say anything that you want as long as it's over. I'll be the villain.
You better sing for that.
Listen. I whatever you want to make me the villain, I'll be the villain. So do you guys believe that? Do you subscribe to that? Sometimes there just has to be a villain in the relationship. Somebody's got to be the one that's wrong. Or can two people mutually decide that the relationships didn't work and walk away?
So
it can.
Go ahead, Corey. It can happen. That where two people just mutually agree that this is just not something that's gonna work. But it's not that often that it does happen. Like it's always like it's more times than not that somebody is going to have to shoulder the most of the blame in whatever happens.
So what I'm gonna say is that with all of my relationships, I've had the pleasure of being with phenomenal black women. Like awesome black women. And none of them are the villain. And neither am I. Stuff just didn't work for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just timing. Because if I look back, there's some women that at this particular juncture in my life, I would wipe them up quickly. Right? And then there's other ones that just wasn't the time, wasn't the place, didn't have the maturity level, both parties or one party, and things fell apart. And that's fine.
So question for you, just to piggyback off of that. Can you be friends? Can you still be friends with someone after the relationship has dissolved? So can you be friends with your ex-girlfriend? Mr. Corey, can you be friends with your ex-girlfriend if it was...
No.
Oh. Well, why is that? Because I know for me, if I wanted to be with you or you did something wrong, or if I'm in a place, I don't want to be your friends. I just don't want to be your friend. But then some men, they're like, let's be friends.
So with my past relationships, women and most of the girlfriends have at some point tried to reach back out to me. Probably because they see the value or worth of me in comparison to, all the other guys that they've been out with since our relationship ended. But as far as being friends, I think that's a weird spot that I particularly don't think is appropriate. Because then, if you find another woman, now you got to explain that you got your ex is your friend, and y'all still talk, and then that's weird. There's gazillions of women out there, gazillions of men. Just find somebody else. Like it was for that time, and that's the time, and that it's over.
Well, for me, I see what you're saying, but for me, I just couldn't be in a relationship with my last ex. I mean, I couldn't have a friendship with her again. We started off that way. The friendship was really good. So I felt like the relationship was going to be a smooth transition. It started out that way. And then, it's just, the first time we mutually agreed the timing was bad. So we went back to the friendship thing. That was cool for a while, but then she initiated the relationship again twice. She was the one that wanted us to be together. And she was also the same one who ended the relationship. So for me, it was just a little bit confusing because I was doing everything I could, And she even told me herself, this came out her mouth. You were the best boyfriend I have ever had. She said that. They came out of her mouth. I didn't think that. That was her saying that. She told me.
I've had that from a number of
relationships. She told me that. So I felt like, I was doing all I could. I didn't stop doing things. I kept doing things because I wanted to uphold that. And I really loved and cared about that girl, which is why I know after it ended like it ended, we never get back to that point because I felt like after I realized what was going on and how I really felt about the situation and I dealt with my emotions, I felt a bit manipulated because of the way she, came in and came out whenever she felt like. She wanted to be me when she wanted to be with me, and whenever she didn't want to be with me, it was always her call. It was never on me.
Corey, let me tell you something right now about that girlfriend you had. She had another man.
Probably.
I'm just being honest because if she dictated the relationship, if she dictated when she wanted to be with you and when she didn't want to be with you, there was a man on the side, honey, that was filling in the gaps of the things that she felt like she was missing in you. I can't say that for sure, but it sounds like that just sounds like it to me. Kay, how do you feel about that statement?
I mean, it sounds pretty accurate. I'm not saying because
I didn't live it.
I've held men in placeholders. That's what that essentially is. It's a placeholder, and like you said, he's kind of filling in the gaps where the other man isn't. It does. It sounds.
I mean, the only gap that wasn't being filled was us having sex. So I'm pretty sure that was what it was.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
if you weren't having sex, sir,
that's the only gap for you. You don't know what other gaps you weren't. You know what I'm saying? That y'all had on her end. You don't know what you were, what holes y'all had on her end. You don't know how honest she was being with you.
Yeah, not at all. Not at this point. But it's just like, every time it'd be like she we ended the relationship and like a month later she was DMing me. We hadn't talked in a whole month. And she just randomly DMing me, asking me, about stuff that was going on. And I'm just like, no.
She was hovering. She was hovering.
Yeah, I'm like, because that's how she got me the last time. I'm like, you're not finna keep doing this with me.
So, Corey, let me ask you a question. Did you ask a male role model, a friend? Did you ask anyone their perspective on what they thought or about the situation, about the relationship?
Oh, well, of course.
Because and what advice did you receive?
Were in relationships at times, and they was just like, I felt like they was kind of trying to spare me the thought process because they knew what I was going through. So they didn't want to outright say what they felt. So they was kind of just like, hey man, just, you should just chalk it up to an L. It ain't work out. And nothing you can do about it.
Okay, Dr. Flood, in your relationship, when it didn't work out towards the end, did you reach out to your homies, your dad, your male tribe, because men can have tribes also, and then what was their perspective on the ending?
Well, I mean, I usually reach out to my sisters. I have a really good relationship with them, and they were like, "Run away, quickly. We like her, we love her, she's just not for you." And this is, very very clear. And so, I hope. Most of the time, I listen to my sisters to give me, feedback. I also talk to my parents. I have a good relationship with them as well.
Y'all, this is a family man. He loves his sisters. He has a good listen. I'm trying to plug you, sir. Listen. Trying to get you a whole wife from this podcast. Corey, same thing. If you have never cheated on your girl and you're trying to get in touch with your feminine side, not feminine side, your emotional side, because there's such thing as male energy and female energy on both sides. But listen, if you guys have all these great attributes of things that you feel within yourselves, I really do feel like both of y'all some good catches. We should be able to get at least a date, at least a DM thing going back and forth. Y'all better throw out y'all Instagram handles, Facebook.
You see what Lorena said?
All right, Lorena Johnson. No one person can give everything you need in one relationship. That is why it's important for men and women to learn how to cultivate healthy platonic relationships or friendships. I hear you, but my man don't need to have no I'm the first and the last friendship that they need to have.
Okay, I'm different because I agree, baby. I'm not gonna give you everything. I'm gonna give you what I can give you. And I feel like you need to get it from elsewhere, because I'm gonna get it from elsewhere. I have friends. Like if you feel like I can't give you something, let's have that conversation. I'm not saying go fuck off and go have a little Bible study date. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you need to go have other relationships. That's why I only really date men who have hobbies, who have friends, because I hate men that are always calling me like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, baby, why you not doing something? You're not interested in nothing. You don't have nothing else to do. Your partner don't want to go hoops or something. Like, but just don't just follow me all the time. So that's why I date specific men. Like, you need to be doing more than just wanting me as your woman. You need to have that relationship.
Right. I definitely understand that. Go ahead, Misora.
I think Lorena brings up a really interesting point. So in my last relationship, my ex-fiance, she probably said something very similar to me. And because she was a marriage and family therapist, she kind of wanted to have like a polyamorous relationship, like where she dates other people and I date other people, and I'm not with that. I'm not with that. I'm a one woman kind of guy, so it's kind of hard for me. Huh?
That's not how y'all's relationship started, is it?
No, definitely not. I wouldn't have been cool if it had started that way.
Two things. We need to bring your ex-girlfriend back on this show because we need to talk about polyamorous relationships. Okay? We need to have you back on the show again, Dr. Flood, because you definitely bring a unique and interesting perspective to the good man. Not that all men aren't good, but just the way you proclaim to be. We need to have you back on more often. Mr. Corey, love your perspective. Love that you are a good young man in training. I feel like you and Dr. Flood need to link up so you can build your male tribe, so you can bounce some ideas off of. And I think that it's healthy. It's healthy. I think that men more oftentimes than not, sometimes they rely on themselves to give themselves good advice. Do you ever try to have a conversation with yourself and see what happened with that?
I wish I took my advice more.
Really. But I think it's important that that men they do have a tribe, that they do focus on self-care, that they are able to self-evaluate and recalibrate when they feel like things aren't moving the way it should be in their relationships. And again, just have somebody to reach out to. So normally we run this show for about an hour. We ran over for about 12 minutes. And the topic tonight, if you were just joining in, was who's teaching these black men how to love? Dr. Flood said that his parents taught him how to love, just watching how his father adored his mother, loved his mother. Mr. Corey, you said you watched your grandmother's husband you kind of mimic your love style or how you love based off of that. So it's safe to assume that both of you guys had a father figure, a male figure in your lives that taught you how to love. But what would you tell men who were raised by single women? Like, do you feel like they have a disadvantage when trying to figure out how to maneuver love, or that role model of how to teach them how to love? Do you have friends that grew up raised by their mother, and how successful are their relationships?
So I think you are going to have some level of disadvantage if you're raised in a one-parent household, whether that's with your father or your mother, because you need both of those energies in the household. And it just in my opinion, it takes even more than just a mother and a father in the household. It takes a lot to raise a child. Many family members, many people in your village, so to speak, to help with the raising of a child. However, it's not something that you can overcome. You have to do a lot of work on yourself, and that's why I always recommend counseling and therapy for anybody who just wants to become better than they were yesterday. I think that'll really help them out. And a lot of self-reflection.
Perfect. Musa, that's your wrap up for tonight. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Corey, wrap it on up. What is your wrap up? What did you learn? What is a final thought for our show tonight?
Well, I think that everybody should be more cognizant of what they require and how to communicate those things when they're looking to, be in a relationship with somebody and find a partner. Because communication plays a really big part in whether a relationship can be successful or not. If people are able to communicate things clearly and people are able to understand each other, then, it'll be smoother. You know what I'm saying? Things can go smoother, things that you would probably get hung up on back in the past, you won't get hung up on no more because you'll know how to properly and effectively communicate with your partner. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, communication is key.
Mr. Corey, I'm gonna say something about communication, because you can communicate all you want. You can be the most effective communicator, get your points across very clearly, okay? But if the person that's receiving that information based off of their life experiences, based off of their generational curses, based off of the issues, the things that they have had that happened to them in the past, you can say all day long that sky, whatever, the sky is blue, but based off of how they perceive things, based off of how they process things, you may be the best communicator, but are people able to receive? Are you on the receiving end? Are they understanding? And so I think that's a lot of the disconnect when we talk about communication. You can be a great communicator, but it's how people are receiving it as well. Are they able to digest? Are they able to understand as you are being the best communicator that you can be? So I love those points. Thank you so much for joining the show. Miss Kirsten Baby says, that beautiful new hairstyle, girl. I was shocked and surprised and amazed because I have not seen this from you, and I'm loving it, baby sis. Give me your wrap ups for tonight. How do you feel? What did you think? Did you learn anything about, Black men and who's teaching them how to love? And should we have a part 2 on this?
I definitely think we need a part 2. And when I say a part 2, I think it should be them 2 again, but definitely somebody else that is in love. I want somebody else that's in love currently. And I couldn't find anybody. Well, one, he was available, but he had to put his daughter to bed. I was okay, a family man. But I think we should have a part 2, and at the same time, I guess Black men don't speak. They're new. That's new to me. I thought most men cheated. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not me joking. I did. I think most men cheated. But for them to say that, I'm knowing that it's blurred lines, because what Mutar thinks wasn't cheating, to me automatically that was cheating. But again, he was on his way out the door, so I think it's different. But personally, I feel it's different. But personally, I think this was really good. I was really excited for him to come on in 5. I loved it. I don't really have no huge wrap up for real, but yeah, we need a part 2.
All right. Well, this is my wrap up for tonight. Black men, thank you so much for joining us. Okay. We love you. We respect you. We nurture you as the queens that we are. We want to make sure that we have great kings, in this world. And so thank you again. We love you. We appreciate you. My wrap up for tonight is I'm with you, Casey. I thought all men cheated, but clearly we have an anomaly on this show where the 2 that happen to come on the show tonight just don't cheat, and it's baffling to me. But thank you. Listen, but you can't. You cannot.
He's too close to family. I'm like, hold on. I think I know a couple of women that might be good for him. I was over here contemplating him.
You was going through your Rolodex. She was like,
I don't know. They might be moms. They might have a kid or 2, but they on their and they not know 0.25. You know what I'm saying? They good looking. I got you.
Oh, mind you now, he didn't say he was going to wife a 0.25. He said he would smash one. That's what he said.
We're looking for a wife for him.
So we need a 14.
But I also said I'm not out there just smashing chicks. So,
anymore.
That's like 10 years ago.
Okay.
But my wrap up tonight My wrap up tonight is just, again, I didn't know black men didn't cheat until tonight because, it is what it is. But the other part of that is just making sure, understanding that men actually do have tribes. Men actually do have people that they're bouncing things off of in order to get their own relationship advice. We just want to make sure that the people that you guys are bouncing these relationship advices off of are in sound mind and emotionally strong and capable to handle what you're giving out. Because ain't nothing worse than a man giving bad relationship advice to another man. The blind leading the blind, because that's normally what happens. So I'm proud and I'm happy and I'm glad that you guys have a tribe, be it your family, be it other men, as long as there's somebody out there teaching you how to love. And so you can follow us on Twitter, The Guys Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at The Guys Pod. Catch us on Blackjack TV, Zango TV, Channel 198, Primetime Sports, Waggering Network. Thank you so much again for joining us tonight. We are on every other Sunday. The Guys featuring Mel and Tribe. And thank you so much to my tribe for tonight. I love you, thank you, and we are out of here. Mwah.